Hello and welcome back to another video on the Football Zone and to a weekend previewing this week's Premier League and Championship action. And yeah, let's get straight into it with Leeds against Bournemouth in Saturday lunchtime. And yeah, this is a very interesting game because both these sides coming into this one not great form, but did say that Liverpool obviously losing to Leeds 2-1 last week, an incredible result. But yeah, I mean, except for that, not great form, and Leeds will be looking to make it turn the bounce to really end that poor run of form. Bournemouth not doing well at the moment. I think Leeds will just be so buoyed by that result last week and seeing them getting a win here 2-1. Moving on then to Manchester City as they take on Fulham at the Etihad, and City, playing really well as ever at the moment, aren't they, City? Dominating games and gave key players a rest. Will Haaland be fit? That's a big question. But to be honest, even with Fulham side in great form, and what a season they're having, sitting 7th so far, I still think that Man City, whatever side they put out, really will have a bit too much for Fulham here. And I'm going to say the scoreline will be 3-0 to the Citizens. Moving on then to Nottingham Forest as they take on Brentford at the City ground. And yeah, Forest, they're coming into this one obviously off the back of that 5-0 defeat to Arsenal, but before that win against Liverpool and gave them a big boost. And Brentford, they're struggling a bit at the moment as well. Last win on the 14th of October. And yeah, a few not great results in between then. So yeah, I mean, it's still a tough game to call this one, really. So yeah, I'm going to say it will be a draw, but it's one of those that you feel could go either way. Moving on then to Wolves versus Brighton at Molineux. Wolves, yeah, struggling along at the moment. Still without a manager, and you feel like that's kind of a necessity, really, for them. You've got, obviously, Lopetegui, Maroon team coming in now. And yeah, I think that would be a really good appointment if they can make that happen. But yeah, I mean, taking on a Brighton side, obviously got that crucial win under Chelsea, and I think just because there's context around it, Zerbi, that gives them a real momentum boost. But I still think Wolves at home, I don't know, I'm going to go for a surprise win. Moving on then to Everton versus Leicester at Goodison Park. And yeah, this is another game that's really tough to call, because Everton, after a few tough games, have started to pick up some form with a 3-0 win over Palace and a draw away at Fulham. But Leicester, they won 2 on the trot, didn't they, before they lost to Man City, and it wasn't like they were embarrassed or anything by Man City. They put up a really solid fight. So yeah, I mean, it's once again a hard game to call this one. A game that you really feel could go either way, but I think Everton getting into the groove, home advantage, I don't know, I'm going to say a win for them. Moving on then to Sunday's action and kicking us off at 12 o'clock with a pretty big game in the Premier League, to be honest. Chelsea versus Arsenal. And yeah, Chelsea coming into this one, obviously on the back of that Zagreb win, but yeah, their form in the Premier League has been a bit shoddy as of late, with all the issues going on. So yeah, they need to get back to winning ways, but Arsenal flying along at the moment as usual. Yeah, it's not going to be an easy one at all. I think Chelsea will get something out of it. I'm going to say a draw. Moving on then to Villa against Manchester United. Villa coming into this one off the back of a 4-0 loss to Newcastle. It's been very weird, their last few games. Won 4-0 and then lost 4-0. So yeah, I think that kind of just sums up what we think about Villa at the moment. Just so unpredictable. You never really know what you're going to get from them, really. So yeah, it's a hard one to call this, but I think Manchester United will fancy their chances with Villa, just how inconsistent they've been recently. I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on then to St Mary's, where Southampton take on Newcastle. And yeah, Southampton, their form's just been inconsistent as of late, hasn't it? 1 win from the last 5, 2 draws and 2 losses though. But Newcastle's just flying along at the moment, aren't they? Unbeaten since August. So yeah, just sums up the job Eddie Howe's doing there. 3-game winning streak at the moment. So yeah, they're just flying along nicely at the moment. I think they probably will be too much for Southampton here. I'm going to say 1-0 to Newcastle. Moving on then to West Ham as they take on Crystal Palace at the London Stadium. And yeah, West Ham, I mean, coming into this one, 3 wins on the trot. 3 wins on the trot, excluding that Manchester United game. So 3 wins in the last 4, but against the Palace side, who also are in pretty decent form, with the exception of that loss to Everton. So yeah, I mean, both teams are doing reasonably well at the moment, but I think West Ham at home, they'll fancy their chances here in this London derby. Moving on then to Tottenham as they take on Liverpool at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And yeah, this is a hard one to call, because Tottenham, obviously, I think they would have spent loads of energy and whatever on that game against Marseille in a week. Luckily for them, they came through. But yeah, Premier League form has been okay, I would say. Could be better, but still, Liverpool, you never know what you're going to get from them, especially in the Premier League, where they've just had some terrible results recently. They need to rebound here, but Tottenham will be fancying their chances as well, I think. And yeah, I think at home, Spurs probably will have too much. So I'm going to say 2-1 to Spurs. Moving on then to Friday night then, and the Championship, and kicking us off with Reading v Preston. And yeah, Reading coming into this one, not in the greatest form to be honest, but a good solid point away at Luton last time out. Hopefully will give them confidence and rebound. But Preston, they've won the last two. But yeah, I mean, going along relatively nicely at the moment. But yeah, both these sides, you never really know what you're going to get. Could be a really good performance, could be a really poor performance. I suppose two mid-table Championship sides, really. But yeah, at home, I'm going to say Reading will get the win. Moving on then to Saturday's game, and yeah, probably the biggest game in the Championship this week. The lunchtime game was Sheffield United taking on Burnley. And yeah, this is a big game because Sheffield United really rediscovering their form as of late after a bit of a poor run. 2 wins on the trot, but Burnley 4 wins on the trot. And obviously it's been the late show at Turf Moor in the last few weeks. I know we're looking to continue that here, but yeah, it will be a tough game. I think there's not a lot to pick between the two sides. I'm going to say it'll be a draw. Moving on then to Blackburn as they take on Huddersfield at Ewood Park. And yeah, Blackburn, there's been doubts about how long their form can continue like that, and like it has been, and that obviously kind of came to light with the 1-0 defeat to Coventry last time out. And yeah, Huddersfield, you know, they're kind of struggling along as well, aren't they? At the moment, the 2-0 defeat to Sunderland. But before that, 4 points from 2. So, you know, they just need to be a bit more consistent. But yeah, at home, I think Blackburn will have too much for them here. I'm going to say 3-0. Moving on then to Blackpool against Luton at Bloomfield Road. And yeah, Blackpool, obviously that defeat to West Brom after being in good form for a few games before that will be extremely frustrating, and they'll be wanting to get back on track after that. But yeah, against a Luton side who seem to be draw specialists at the moment, drawn the last 2, winless in 3. So, you know, they need a result. Blackpool want a result as well. So, you know, it's a game between two pretty evenly matched sides, I would say. I'm going to say it'll be a 1-1 draw. Moving on then to Middlesbrough as they take on Bristol City at the Riverside. And yeah, obviously it was a big win for Michael Carrick, his first in charge against Hull midweek, while Bristol City narrowly lost out to Sheffield United. And their form recently hasn't been too good. Winless in 3 defeats in the last 5, 2 in the last 3. So yeah, I mean, I think they need a win here really. And it'll be interesting to see if they can get the win. But I think Middlesbrough will be buoyed by that win, and will come into this one full of confidence. And I think it will be a narrow 2-1 win for Middlesbrough here. Moving on then to the Den as Millwall take on Hull. Liam Rossini now, of course, Hull manager. I mean, it's an interesting appointment because obviously he had a bit of a middling spell when he was in charge of Derby, the number 1 there. So yeah, surprised he didn't get a Championship job. But yeah, I mean, intrigued to see where it goes against the Millwall side, who yeah, good form, maybe starting to run up a bit. Just 1 point from the last 2 against Huddersfield and Birmingham as well. So 2, I would say, fairly winnable games. So yeah, a bit frustrating. But Hull will be interested to see how Rossini gets on. I think Millwall, though, will see it as an opportunity. Well, he's kind of adjusting to Hull to get off to a winning start. I'm going to say 1-0. Moving on then to QPR against West Brom at Loftus Road. And yeah, QPR coming into this one off the back of just 1 point from the last 2. Before that, had 2 wins on the trot. So yeah, I don't know, their form may just be kind of petering out. And West Brom, after 3 losses on the trot, what a huge win it was against Blackpool last time out, and that will give them some confidence. But I think QPR at home will probably have too much for still a struggling West Brom side here. Moving on then to Rotherham as they take on Norwich at the New York Stadium. And Rotherham, yeah, struggling at the moment. 3 losses out of the last 4, and the other one was a draw. And Norwich, you know, 4 points from the last 2 after such a poor run. Hopefully starting to get their form back now. But yeah, we'll have to see. I think we'll have to judge over a long time period. But I think this is a game that they'd definitely be expecting to win, to be honest. And yeah, I think they will get the win. I'm going to say it will be 2-0 to Norwich. Moving on then to Stoke as they take on Birmingham at the Bet365 Stadium. And yeah, Stoke coming into this one off the back of 3 losses, but getting that win against Wigan last time out, which would be a big win and hopefully gives them some confidence after a bit of a tough run. But Birmingham, yeah, I mean, still going along pretty nicely, aren't they? John Eustace and co all kind of exceeding expectations currently, and long may it last. But yeah, for Stoke, it's a game which I think they will be looking to build some momentum on. Birmingham as well, I don't know, I'm going to say draw in this one. I don't think they'll be much to separate 2 sides. Moving on into Watford as they take on Coventry at Vicarage Road. And yeah, Watford coming into this one, on a really decent run under Slaven Bilic. 4 wins from the last 5, 3 wins in the trot. So hopefully the consistency Watford have been looking for, it finally seems to be arriving, which is big for them, of course. And yeah, against the Coventry side, who are going on nicely at the moment, it will be a tough challenge. But I think Watford at home, I definitely back them to get another victory here. I'm going to say 2-0 to them. Moving on then to Swansea, as they take on Wigan at the Liberty Stadium. And yes, Swansea coming into this one, I don't know, they're 4-1 point for the last 2, but both trips on the road, both tough trips on the road, but before that going on a really decent run. So yeah, you don't know what you're going to get from them really. Wigan though, 5 losses on the trot. Yeah, I mean, it's not been great for them recently, has it? And they desperately need a result before the World Cup break, just to stem that flow, because they are looking in trouble at the moment. But I think Swansea here will have a bit too much for them. I'm going to say 2-0 to Swans. Moving on then to Sunderland versus Cardiff at the Stadium of Light. And yes, Sunderland coming into this one is inconsistent form, isn't it? 2 wins, 2 losses and a draw in the last 5. You don't know what you're going to get. But Cardiff have been struggling after a really positive start for Mark Hudson. So yeah, I mean, they'll want to win here. But I think Sunderland as well will definitely be fancying their chances after the win in midweek. So yeah, you don't really know what you're going to get from these two sides. Really, it's a tough one to call. But I think Sunderland at home will have a bit too much. I'm going to say 1-0. But anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. It's what's kind of time and follow this show for daily football news and scores from channels. Greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.